whether it's Black Lives Matter or anything, it's just bringing awareness to something where I just want to flush out hatred. Because if we got to clench our pearls when we go out, or I get nervous around people, you know, when I'm like, yo, what's his intentions? Like, what's that dude back there thinking about? It's like, damn, like,
I don't want to be out.
I don't want to be, it's not worth it, you know?
And you know what's crazy? I always tell people, like, because I grew up Calabasas Middle School, Beverly Hills High, and I always tell people I did not understand racism. And I had this conversation with my mom because I was like, I didn't understand racism until I went to Texas for college basketball.
Yeah.
And it was in the country. And then I'm getting pulled over, I'm getting asked questions. I'm like, whoa.
What is this?
Yeah, what is it? And it was like a culture shock for me, but it's like you said, like if we don't know, you know, for me, it was more so, I think why I was so big on BLM was because for most of my life, I always felt like the Black girl around the white kids, but I belong. So I'm not gonna say I didn't feel Black, but it was just like, I'm me.
Yeah.
I belong here.
Right.
My dad's an NBA All-Star, my mom's on TV, I'm with y'all.
But do you...
So it was like...
Okay.
What were you gonna say?
Do you think that skewed your growth, gave you a false narrative of what life is really like?
Luckily it didn't, because I was able to go to Texas at 18. So I still had time to see like, yo, like I need to belong to my culture. I wasn't like that at first.
All right, guys, so I got to tell you, it really pains me to do this video because growing up as a Carolina Panthers fan, Cam Newton was probably my favorite quarterback ever because he was probably the best quarterback the Panthers ever had. I don't know, man. Maybe Jake Delhomme gives Cam Newton a run for his money. Jake Delhomme did go to a Super Bowl, even though he was very mediocre, okay? But I like Jake, okay? At least Jake wasn't woke, at least as far as I know. I don't know. Maybe it is. I have no clue. But I do know that Cam Newton has gone woke, and I think Cam Newton, for as much as, you know, I like him as a football player, he went woke, I think, socially, right? And that's when his career started to go down the drain. Now, obviously, injuries had something to do with it as well, too. But I'm just saying, right? I think there's, without a doubt, there's a correlation between, an athlete and them going woke and then their career trajectory. I'm just saying. Ask Megan Rapinoe and Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed. But anyways, Cam Newton, at least when it comes to this issue of race, apparently is woke because... he had this conversation where he said something that was interesting, and I really want to respond to it because I think Cam Newton here is a victim of woke ideology, and woke ideology basically leading to regressivism, okay? Progressivism is actually regressing us back to Jim Crow, as Cam Newton basically declared that he does not believe that white teachers can teach Black history to his kids. And this was an interesting declaration that I want to talk about because, again, it is just another example of how wokeism is really just racism. Take a look.
I'm going through an issue right now with my children. All of them have education from private schools. And something alarming happened when my daughter came home. It was February, and she said, Dad, a white person is teaching us about Black history. And I was like, yo, that's not right. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, we all are entitled to their own opinion. And I'm like, if a white person is teaching about Black history, can a Black person teach about
White culture?
You know, Caucasian history. You see what I'm saying? European history. And I'm like, you could, but it's gonna be some things that's left out. You know what I'm saying? Slavery. How did Africans move to, America? And
now,
things.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Because when I was growing up, private school, all that, I'm going to be completely honest, I didn't have a lot of Black teachers. Mm-hmm. So 9 times out of 10, your kids are probably going to school with teachers who, they're not letting Black teachers come in.
Did you have Black history in high school?
No. I don't think I had that.
That's the problem.
But so to that,
I don't think I had
to that point,
that's the problem.
There's a alarming statistic that says as a minority growing up in America, the only time you are faced with a white race is that person is in the position of power. Your principal, the officer, your coach.
Your judge.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
it's
true.
and that person who's pouring into you, it's not that they hate you, they just don't know enough about you.
Yeah.
So whether it's Black History Month or anything else, I would warrant more minorities to get involved in the community, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a city official,
you're saying.
because now you can cope with that, because there's so many things that could have stopped by me going through it. And we was having a discussion off camera, when I was like, yo, I don't see rebellious kids, because
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, okay? Cam Newton thinks that it is not right for white teachers to teach Black history to Black students, particularly his child, which, you know, to me, again, all you got to do when you listen to these people is just imagine a white person or a white athlete saying, I don't think that Black teachers can teach my child European history or white history, right? Which, you know, there's not a thing called white history, right? They don't call it white history. But if a white person or a white athlete made that statement, yeah, they be saying he's racist, right? He sounds like a member of the Klan. Okay, you want segregation, which is exactly what it sounds like to me, right? That you want segregation in school. You think that only Black teachers can teach Black students, which, you know, this is something that's being pushed by the wokes, right? The woke studies suggest, again, this is the woke research, not mine, that students do better when they get exposed to a Black teacher, or minority students do better. More specifically, they have a 7% more likely chance to graduate high school and a 13% more likely chance to enroll in college. Now, if they have two Black teachers, the Black students' likelihood of enrolling in college increases by 32%. Now, that's according to Brookings, okay? And I'm not sure how true these statistics are, because anecdotally, I've seen a number of schools across these inner cities that are mostly Black. For example, look at Baltimore. Who are most of the kids in Baltimore? They're Black. And 45% of the teachers in Baltimore city schools are Black. And what is the outcome? It's been terrible. Okay, students can't read in any of the schools. They can't write. They can't do math. They're not proficient. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing at their grade level. Okay, it is an absolute disaster. Okay, and that's not just the only example around the country where you have these mostly Black school districts that do have, you know, a lot of Black teachers, and they're still a disaster. I don't think that race has all that much to do with it, in my opinion. I think a vast majority of the academic attainment of a child and what they learn and their ability to learn, one, is probably genetic, but also on top of that is parenting, particularly at an early age. How involved is the parent in teaching their child and getting them up to speed as quickly as possible? I think that's what a majority of it really comes down to, is what goes on in the home. Okay. And another reason why I say that, anecdotally, is because, you know, growing up, the best teacher I ever had was a white male. Now, this comes as most of my other teachers, for the most part, were Black women, okay? And my worst teachers were Black women. In fact, most of my teachers that I didn't like or I didn't get along with were likely to be women. Now, I don't think it was a race thing. It was just the fact that growing up and even as an adult, I have never done well with female leadership, okay? I've never done well when it comes to being led by a woman or a woman having authority over me, okay? That's just a personal thing. It just doesn't work out well. I'm just not the type of person that responds well to being led by a woman, okay? So I never really got along with my female teachers, but with my male teachers, we were Gucci, right? We would chill, okay? In fact, I performed the best. I learned the most in my classes that were taught by males. I just performed the best in those classes. Now, who knows? Maybe there is something to be said about the gender dynamic, okay? Because, you know, men have more authority. I think men can also relate to boys more. And I think, honestly, one of the reasons why, you know, we have the issues that we have in schools is because we don't have more male teachers, right? I actually really do think that we need more male teachers, okay? Maybe we need affirmative action for male teachers, okay? Maybe we need to have a gender pay gap for male teachers to incentivize more male teachers to sign up and teach. Okay, I think that having more male teachers would actually solve a lot of issues that we have in school. Me personally, that's what I believe. But that's not to say that male teachers can't teach females or female teachers can't teach male students, anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I think that can happen. Okay, just like I think that a white teacher can teach black students and a black teacher can teach white students. It really just comes down to the skill of the teacher and how willing the teacher is to at least attempt to relate to that student and to adjust to how a student learns, especially when a student needs extra help and stuff like that. So I think, honestly, it really comes down more to effort and willingness from a teacher to be a good teacher, to relate to students, and to, actually care about a student learning. Okay, I don't think that that's much of a race thing as much as that's just a good teacher thing, right? So with that being said, obviously there are black teachers that can teach European history and there are white teachers that can teach black history. Okay, we can have both of these things. A teacher's knowledge on a subject and how they teach it has nothing to do with their skin color and their race. Unfortunately, it may have something to do with their political ideology. And that's the biggest problem in our schools, is not race or demographics among teachers. It's more so about ideology. We got too many woke teachers. And with all the woke stuff being pushed in school, it kind of blows my mind that what Cam Newton is worried about is a white teacher teaching his kid black history. With all the crazy nonsense that's being pushed in school, this is what he's worried about. You know, it's almost as if maybe he wants his kid to be taught, I don't know, the 1619 Project, right? Which is the woke version of history, right? Instead of real, true black history, since, Cam Newton mentioned slavery and how the Africans actually got over here. I wonder, does Cam Newton know that the African slaves, one of the main reasons why the white man was so successful at getting the African slaves over to America was because they were sold into slavery by African tribes, right? I wonder, does Cam Newton know that, right? Does Cam Newton understand how integral and key other black people were, aka the Africans were, to enslaving the Africans that eventually went to America? Okay, they helped out the white man quite a bit. I'm just saying. I wonder, does he know that? I wonder, does his daughter know that, right? Because to me, again, it doesn't sound like he actually really wants his kid to learn real history. He wants his kid to learn a woke version of history. Again, the 1619 Project, which basically claims that the Revolutionary War was fought over slavery, which is just factually incorrect, right? It's just not true. But this is the type of stuff being pushed in school by the woke revolutionaries. And again, what Cam Newton is worried about is whether or not his teacher is white or black rather than whether or not his teacher's woke, right? If I was a parent, I'd be much more concerned about the ideology, the political ideology of the teacher, and if they're pushing that political ideology rather than worried about their skin color and their race. But again, what you're hearing here is the unfortunate reality of woke indoctrination, which is the fact that these people basically outright claim that they want segregation. Okay, they want to go back to Jim Crow. Okay, they want to be in a time period where white people only have white teachers and black students only have black teachers, which again is segregation. That's what a lot of these people are advocating for. And I'm not sure if they really understand that, right? Do you understand that what you're advocating for is Jim Crow? Do you understand that you're basically saying screw integration? Integration isn't working for black folks, and we want to be separate again. That's what a lot of these people are advocating for, which again, is fine, right? But when the white man comes out and says, well, I don't think integration is working out for us. We want to be on our own. We don't want to be among black people anymore. I don't want to hear any cries about boohoo and racism and, oh, white man, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, okay? Because black people come out and say the exact same thing, but yet this is praised as progress. This is progress, okay? When to me, it doesn't sound like progress. It actually sounds like regression. It sounds like they want so desperately for us to live back in the Jim Crow segregation era. Again, that's what the woke revolutionaries are pushing, which is consistent with their ideology, okay? In which you have these people who really, 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 it seems like they want to go back and live in the old glory days of segregation and Jim Crow, okay? Because their ideology is regressive. It's regressive in nature. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.